thing now. Like, okay, so now, not only have we not, we won a World Series in 16. I'm not looking at if it gets to 108, that we'll be long gone.
What's the goal?
What's the goal? Is the goal just to in the middle of all of this, they decided, we're just going to trade everybody, strip it down to people that we don't know who the hell is in the starting lineup, Frank Schwindel's of the world, right? And we were supposed to be okay with that product on the field. It's Chicago. You're the Cubs. You have money to spend. I know it's not an open checkbook. I get that. But please don't tell me that you could not be more competitive than you've been the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, I get that we're not the Yankees or the Mets.
Okay,
the Mets.
What is Marquee paying the Cubs to put that on their? Okay, they've got a TV package, right?
Yeah.
They're not hurting for money.
No.
Please.
But I mean, when I'm just like, I'm beyond frustrated because it's like Jed Hoyer is just like saying this to like get it out of the way, basically. Like he's like, I feel pressure because it's sports and I'm the president of operations for the Cubs. Obviously, you don't.
I mean,
because when you're putting the product out there, you're barely putting a team that you're basically overpaying for people that I don't know if like the Tyone contract was a good contract. I get the Swanson contract because they needed a shortstop. But all these different contracts that are just built up over the years. Suzuki, it was like 4 years or 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
But you're hamstringing yourself when you're giving those guys no trade. I get that's how you're negotiating.
Yeah, I mean the player has the power in that instance for sure.
But
they have to be the ones that say, okay, I'll agree to a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to ask these guys hey, are you okay to go and do the Dodgers?
Right.
Or some other team?
Yeah. Because
we want this guy.
Yeah.
And he's more controllable, and he doesn't have a bullshit contract.
So, yeah, kind of just repeating the fact that I think this isn't a situation where like, oh my God, we're like we're starting from scratch, right? There's a lot of good on this team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from that.
No, like Jed Hoyer did a lot of good. He built up the farm system.
Yeah.
It started at like number 3 at the beginning of the year. I don't know what it ended at when all these guys graduated.
Yeah.
He made some trades.
So I think it's time to use maybe some of those assets and let's get some guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, go out, spend some money on a certain pitcher.
Yeah.
Called Corbin Burns or Max Fried. Someone in those top tier.
Yeah.
Not the second tier.
Yeah.
And go trade some of those prospects that we have that are blocked.
Right.
And go get a superstar player. Like a bat. Like a huge bat.
I agree. Yeah.
So then we don't have to get rid of like, even if we had to or wanted to get rid of the Bellinger contract, we don't have to.
Right.
Because it's no point if you're going to trade those guys away.
Right.
And obviously, you could say, yeah, but Bellinger only has 2 more years and he has an opt-out after next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what
So
is
he
going
can
to happen next year.
He can opt out this year, and if he opts in, he can opt out the following. So he has 2 opt-out years, right?
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But this is all my frustration built into one episode.
I mean, it was a very frustrating season because you can pinpoint where it all went to hell. May, June, and then right back to September woes again.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying to...
They played 500 baseball in September. Not good enough. Not good enough.
Yeah, it was just...
But...
frustrating.
Right. It is frustrating.
Just... I was disgusted in May and June.
Oh, God.
When you're playing... earn 500 baseball, or 300 baseball, basically.
Yeah. Losing series after series after series.
It was getting to the point where, hey, we lost another series.
Yeah, let's talk about,
really?
Let's talk about that.
Thanks. Oh, we got swept?
4-game series, we got swept? Awesome. Thank you. That happened a couple of times.
Yeah, so...
yeah.
It was like, what would be your one word that would describe the season of... I don't even want to say, like, last year was a season of what ifs. Because we didn't know what we had.
Yeah.
Because we still had Ross, and we didn't really... I guess we didn't know what was going to happen because we had a 90% chance on, like, Labor Day.
Yeah.
To go to the playoffs.
In it.
So... this year, it's not what if.
Not in it.
It's... my one word is like... I was... just... exhausted. Like, I was... flabbergasted at the whole freaking season.
So, I'm supposed to give a word for the whole season?
I would give you... yeah.
Underwater. Is that 2 words?
Not if you hyphenate it.
Okay. I just feel like they were just... there were times that it looked like they had traction and they were going somewhere, but it almost like quickly went away.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were just underwater the whole for parts of the season, and those 2 parts, May, June, September, were... yeah.
I mean, what my high point of the season was watching PCA get his first home run.
Yeah, no, I think overall, a high point was watching him develop.
Yeah.
And watching him figure out hitting. Right?
Yeah.
Defense is, off the charts. But I mean, I'm gonna, my high point was when we went on vacation, I was able to watch 3 games of the Cubs that they all that they won and played really good baseball, and you're like, oh, okay, right on, like they're gonna make a move here, they're in this thing, and then you know what, they weren't in it. It went by. It happened quickly.
Yeah.
And then not in it.
They honestly could have fired Jed Hoyer, and I wouldn't been surprised. Like, he didn't really do a whole lot.
Well,
he didn't do a whole lot. I mean, he made a trade with the Dodgers to get Bush and Almonte, and then he made a trade to get Paredes.
I think that first one, I think that Bush Almonte trade is going to turn out to be a very good trade for the Cubs. Even with Almonte going on the shelf.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Bush.
Well, yeah, that could happen too. But I'm just saying, Bush had a good first full season.
Yeah,
rookie season in the NL with the Cubs. So, like I said, there's a lot of good things to look at here. Just they need to tweak, and they need to be big tweaks, maybe. And they got to do something to get over this 83 game.
Do you need to
thing.
make a freaking splash?
They need to make a little bit of a splash. Yeah.
Well, okay. Would you be surprised if they didn't?
No. You?
No.
Thank you.
I'm dead
And that
inside
wraps up,
until they. I'm dead inside until they actually make a splash.
Yeah, it's gonna. Like I said, I think everything doesn't kick off until the
World
Bellinger
Series.
decision, right?
Well,
after the World Series.
After the World Series.
Yeah, he's got 5 days.
Yeah.
After that, so he's already talking with his wife and his family, and what he wants to do and where he wants to go, possibly. Like what's out there. Does he want to come back as a Cub? And he
I wouldn't.
He didn't say one way or the other. He honestly did not know.
Yeah.
And as a fan, well, why? What do you mean he doesn't have? He's not leaning one way or the other. I mean, he's been to Chicago 2 years. Does he like the city? Does he like his teammates? It's not always about that. These guys are so good at separating that stuff and the business side of it, right? Because you'd be like, well, it looks like they all get along and they're having a good time out there, but Cody Bellinger's looking to get paid.
Yeah.
I can't get down on the guy for that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's a business, and Tigers are making a little noise here. 2-2 now, top of the eighth, bases loaded, 2 outs. It looks like is it pitching change or a pitching coach?
I'm just gonna kind of put a minor note in there. So on Monday, before the playoffs start,
yeah,
it's like the one day that everybody can break news because they don't want to overshadow the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
So Monday, Cubs departed ways with a couple coaches.
Yeah.
And strength and conditioning. It might have been because of different philosophies. Craig Counsell kind of got hired late in the game.
Yeah.
So this staff was kind of just given to him.
Honestly, I think the one that surprised me was Napoli.
Yeah, which I don't know if he has to be wanting to be a head coach or a manager.
I mean, possibly, but I guess it surprised me that they moved away from him. It was mutual. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
And also one of the hitting coaches, James Aducci.
Yeah, and then the bullpen coach.
Yeah. So obviously Craig Counsell has an idea of who he would want to bring in.
Yeah, it's probably people from Brewers.
For that, yeah.
Because they were all under contract until this end of this year, I think.
Yeah.
So
another kind of note that came out on Monday, actually after the Braves-Mets doubleheader, Eduardo Perez broke about the death of Pete Rose.
Yep.
He was found in his home. I just read today he died of natural causes. The much embattled Pete Rose, he bet on baseball. He was handed a lifetime ban